In the crowded market of coffee shops and bakeries, how does a business set itself apart? Is it having Instagrammable pastries, unique drinks, or is it something else?
How can we be better than the competition? How can we be more than just food and coffee? You need that little something more. It's really important to really offer our customers a multi-sensory experience.
This is Elisa Marshall and Benjamin Sormonte, founders of Maman, a chain of 34 coffee shops, bakeries, and event spaces. Spread across the east coast of the United States and Canada, their stores are inspired by their travels, mothers, and childhoods.
The name Maman encompasses the feeling of warmth and home, which is really the vibe that we have been going for. I think that within New York City, not a lot of people had the luxury of having these dining rooms in their home. So we really wanted to kind of create a home away from home for our customers.
After spending $250,000 to open their first location in New York's Soho neighborhood, Maman, influenced by French countryside charm and filled with antiques, quickly found an opening in the $49.5 billion US coffee shop market.
It was very important to have a place to gather with our friends, and it became like a home away from home for us, truly.
This is the story of how a couple pivoted careers and started a company that brought in nearly $50 million in sales in 2023. When they met in Montreal in 2011, Benjamin and Elisa were in very different careers from restaurant hospitality. Benjamin, originally from France, was pursuing a law degree, and Elisa, who grew up in the suburbs of Toronto, was dabbling in a few different spaces.
Everything from event planning to interior design, a 9-to-5 in PR and marketing, and event planning on the weekends with a little bit of catering on the side.
Around 2012, Benjamin and Elisa were looking for a change in their careers. A unique opportunity came from some friends of Benjamin who worked with a restaurant group. The couple then found themselves running a restaurant in Ibiza, Spain.
It was really like restaurant school 101 for us, where you get thrown into an island where you don't speak the language and start a restaurant from nothing to, what we made it.
Being exposed to all the different aspects of the restaurant business really helped us for the future. We had so many failures along the way.
Then, wanting to take a step away from the nightlife during the off-season, Benjamin and Elisa moved to New York City just 5 months later to open a wine bar with the same restaurant group.
It was a really great experience for us to kind of, get our hands dirty in the hospitality industry in New York and really learn what it was like in comparison to the island over in Spain.
Elisa had always dreamed of opening a cafe, and she noticed something that many of the ones in New York at the time had in common.
The trend at the time was very industrial chic. All of the cafes, especially in Soho, were very cold and nothing really had that warm and welcoming atmosphere. And for us, it was really important that our space was reminiscent of a home and primarily of our parents' home.
The couple came across an old poster shop and signed a lease to start their very own passion project. In October of 2014, Maman was born.
When we started the business plan, obviously we didn't know how much it would cost. So overall, we spent around $250,000 into the business, and that money came from friends and family, also from the savings we were together working in Elisa. What was important to us is really to be super active in the construction of Maman. So our parents were there, we painted the wall all together as a family, we built some table, we built some chairs, so it was a lot of sweat and tear and love that make it happen.
Benjamin and Elisa drew inspiration from their upbringing for the design of their cafe.
Growing up with our family, we both live on the countryside. Elisa from the countryside of Toronto, and I live in the countryside of the south of France. We love antiques, we love repurposing items. We're very involved in the design of our store still to today. It's a very important part of the business for us.
I grew up with my father being an antique dealer and my house being filled with antiques. I love hearing people come in and eating a meal saying that these are the plates that my grandmother had and this reminds me of home. So having that little bit of nostalgia in this space just helps to really embody what Maman is and what our ethos is.
When creating the menu, Benjamin and Elisa continued to look to their childhoods.
Initially, when we started creating the menu, a lot of the inspiration was drawn from our mothers and the recipes that we had growing up.
We realized that when we ask ourselves, who's your favorite chef? We both say Maman, in a sense that we both grew up in a kitchen with our mom.
Childhood classics are something that we always try to have on the menu, but we like to put a fun twist on them. We like to play with American flavor palettes with proper French pastry techniques.
In addition to serving food and beverages, some Maman locations also act as event spaces. Depending on location and time of day, events at their cafes in New York and New Jersey range from $1,500 to over $10,000.
It was a big part of our business plan and has become a large portion of our business as well today.
Benjamin and Elisa threw themselves into running and operating the business.
Truly, the first couple months and maybe the year was really a 6 a.m. to maybe 8 p.m.
I remember waking up, crack of dawn and coming in, getting the coffee machine ready. That was kind of my thing, overseeing the baked goods and the coffee and working the barista. And Ben was really front of house, working the cash and overseeing the savory.
A breakout moment for the company happened just within a month of opening.
I read an article on Grub Street saying, "Watch your back, Levin, Maman has the best chocolate chip cookie in town." And that was a very defining moment for us because then, Eater picks it up, the other publications pick it up, and the new hottest cookie in town is at Maman. I remember being in that moment looking at each other like, we are going to be here all night making these cookies.
Maman brought in around $2 million in sales in its first year.
We didn't have any day off. We couldn't pay ourselves for a while. We were very fortunate that our family helped us a little bit on the side so we could afford to live in New York.
We put back all of our earnings into the company, knowing that it was something that we did want to grow and want to expand upon. So we lived very tight for our first few years. I think one of my most difficult points was where I was close to burnout. I think we were both working an excessive amount of hours every week and wanting to do everything ourselves.
In 2015, Benjamin's brother invested $1.5 million as a purchase in equity. Eventually, Benjamin and Elisa started to bring in staff.
It was really a matter of figuring out, what am I not very good at, where could someone else add more value, and what doesn't bring me joy on a daily basis, and kind of like carving that out and creating a job description for that role. 2017
brought another breakout moment when Maman's nutty chocolate chip cookie, then priced at $4, was named one of Oprah's favorite things. Today, a box of 8 of those nutty chocolate chip cookies ships anywhere in the US for $45. Prices for other in-store items on the menu vary. A regular croissant runs $4, a small latte $5.25, a tuna sandwich $17, and a breakfast bowl $16. Additionally, a 6-cookie gift box costs $30, and a 12-cookie gift box is $60. Maman would grow and open 2 new locations in 2015, one in Toronto and another in New York City's Tribeca neighborhood. They opened their 7th location in August of 2019 in Montreal. Near the end of 2019, Maman looked into investors.
We went on a roadshow, and it was more by curiosity, try to understand if someone would be interested to partner with us. We didn't have any debt. Then in March 2020, the world collapsed.
In December 2020, however, private equity firm TriSpan struck a deal with them, raising between $10 and $20 million. Benjamin and Elisa would own 50% of Maman, a majority stake according to the company, and all of their stores would remain company-owned. Expansion soon followed. An additional 27 locations have opened since then.
During COVID, we ended up signing about 14 leases, a lot of them being second-generation restaurants where Ben was able to really negotiate some fabulous deals.
In addition to expanding into other markets, Benjamin and Elisa want to transform their company into a lifestyle brand, complete with dinner plates, candles, vases, a cookbook, and a collaboration with baby and toddler brand Lalo.
My vision for Maman is much more than just, brick and mortar and 4-wall restaurant. I really see us turning into a multifaceted lifestyle brand.
For 2023, Maman brought in nearly $50 million in sales and maintained its profitability, according to the company. Today, Maman's revenue is roughly 75% from the restaurants, 20% from events and catering, and 5% from retail. While Benjamin manages Maman's business dealings, Elisa handles the company's creative direction and event planning.
We really understood very quickly that if you want to be successful, you got to be flexible and creative in your approach to the business. What we learn along the years is to be a little bit more focused on what we know how to do, and also sometimes to focus on the offering instead of wanting to please everyone. We really learn how to be focused on what's profitable, what's beneficial for us, but also for the customers.